Hello, dear students. Today we are going to do another session of history, and we are starting with theme 7, which is changing cultural traditions. So, in this, we are going to see how an urban culture developed in Europe. From the 14th to the end of the 17th century, the towns were growing in many countries of Europe, and a distinct urban culture was developing. And the people of the town, they started considering themselves more civilized when they compared themselves to the rural people who lived in the villages. Towns like Florence, Venice, and Rome, they became centers of art and learning. Artists and writers were patronized by the rich and the aristocratic. At this time, there was also invention of printing, and this made books and printed material available to people who were living even in distant towns or far off countries. A sense of history also developed in Europe, and people began to contrast their modern world with that of the ancient world of the Greeks and the Romans. So, a lot of change is happening over here. There is also comparison between what was preached in religion and what the scientists started exploring. Religion came to be seen as something which each individual should choose for himself rather than being forced upon him. The church's earth centric belief, that is, the earth was the center of the universe, was changed by the explorations and discoveries of scientists. A new geographical knowledge came up, and this overturned the Europe centric view that Mediterranean Sea was the center of the world. And from the 19th century, historians used the term Renaissance, and this described the cultural changes of this period. Now, Renaissance is a French word which means rebirth or revival. Now, this is a revival of ancient Greek, Roman, classical cultures. And this is the period between the 14th and the 17th century. And there was a this was a cultural intellectual movement. And this Renaissance period witnessed new trend in various fields like art, literature, philosophy, science. A number of sources were studied to understand this period of revival or rebirth. And these were various documents that were collected over the years. A number of printed books were used, paintings of various artists, sculptures, buildings, textiles that were carefully preserved in the archives, art galleries, museums in Europe and America. All this was very carefully studied to understand this period of revival or rebirth. At this time, there was Jacob Burckhardt. He was a historian and a Swiss scholar. He was a professor of the University of Basel in Switzerland. And also, he was a student of the German historian Leopold von Ranke. He has written a book called The Civilization of the Renaissance in Italy. And in his book, he wrote the story of how a new humanist culture had flowered in Italian towns. And this culture, he said, was characterized by new belief. And this new belief was that man as an individual was capable of making his own decisions and developing his skills. That means he would decide what he would want to do. Now, he was modern in contrast to the medieval man whose thinking had been controlled by the church. The church would tell him what was right and what was wrong and what he should do. And here, this was a change that he is deciding what he wants to do. Now, many towns that were political and cultural centers fell into ruin after the fall of the Roman Empire, 4th century. Then there were no unified government, and the Pope was not a very strong political figure at this time. So while Western Europe was being reshaped under the feudal bonds and feudalism was developing and it was unified under the Latin Church, the Eastern Europe under the Byzantine Empire and Islam was creating common civilization further west. At this time, Italy was weak and fragmented. With the expansion of trade with Byzantine and Islamic empires, the ports of Italy revived. Also, the Mongols opened up trade with China via the Silk Route. And as trade with Western European countries increased, Italian towns played a central role. Now, you can see in this map the Eastern Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church, and we can have a small idea of the Roman Empire and the Byzantine Empire. Now, a role of the Italian cities. Now, these Italian cities no longer saw themselves just a part of the powerful empire, but as independent city states, and you can see this on the map. Florence and Venice were republics, and many other were court cities ruled by princes. And at this time, two of the most vibrant cities were Venice and Genoa. Now, they were different from other parts of Europe because the clergy was not politically dominant here, and nor were the powerful feudal lords. Here, these were more developing cities because rich merchants and bankers actively participated in governing the city because a lot of trade and business was happening over here. And the idea of citizenship developed well in this region. Now, how Venice and Genoa are different from other parts of Europe. You can see Venice and Genoa in this map here. There was no domination of clergy and feudal lords in Venice and Genoa, as we mentioned earlier as well. Cardinal Gasparo Contarini, he wrote about the democratic governments of the city-state in the Commonwealth and Government of Venice. The whole authority of the city was in a council of gentlemen of the city above the age of 20. Now, this was more democratic, where they chose a council of people who were above the age of 25 years, and they did not necessarily only belong to the nobility. They were noble by birth and ennobled by virtue. That means either they belonged to the class of nobility, or they had certain qualities or virtues which made them capable enough to be elected into this council. Now, universities and humanism. The earliest universities in Europe were set up in the Italian towns, and these important universities were of Padua and Bologna. These were centers of legal studies. In these, the subjects of study were law, medicine, and theology. And we know as business and trade developed, lawyers and notaries were required to write and interpret the rules and written agreements. So, law became a very popular subject over here. And educational program was not related to religion as it were in the ancient period. So, it emphasized the skills developed by individuals during through discussions and debates. Let's look at the features of humanism. Let's first understand what humanism was. So, it was emphasizing a person's capacity for self realization through reason. Now, this rejects religion and the supernatural. This humanism and humanities derive from the Latin word humanitas, which means cultures. The word humanitas has been used by Roman lawyer and essayist Cicero. The change in educational program from religious teaching to non-religious teaching. So subjects of studying changed from religious topics to human-related topics. And this new culture, labeled as humanism by 19th century historians. By early 15th century, the term humanist was used for masters who taught grammar, rhetoric, poetry, history, and moral philosophy. Now, this is a picture of Francesco Petrarch. He is considered as the father of humanism. And Florence was his hometown, as it was hometown to many other people, as we will see subsequently. He stressed the importance of studying of ancient Greek and Roman works. Now, Petrarch was given the title of poet laureate in Rome. Now, poet laureate is the most eminent poet, and he is appointed as member of the royal household. So, he is expected to write poems in celebration of the court. Now, Florence, as we know, came into recognition because it was a city known by its great citizens like Dante Alighieri. He was a layman who wrote on religious themes. Then Giotto was an artist who painted lifelike portraits. Then Giovanni Pico della Mirandola was again a humanist of Florence, and he wrote on the importance of debate in on the dignity of man. So from dark age we see movement towards the new age. The humanists thought that they were restoring true civilization after centuries of darkness. Now they believed that the dark age had set in after the collapse of the Roman Empire. The term Middle Age or the medieval period was used for the millennium, that is, the 1,000 years after the fall of Rome. And in the Middle Ages, the church had had such complete control over men's mind that all learning of the Greek and the Romans had been blotted out. The humanists used the word modern for a period from 15th century. Now you can see here how the humanists have divided the period. 5th to 14th century was considered the Middle Age. 5th to 9th century was the Dark Ages. Then 9th to 11th century, Early Middle Ages. 11th to 14th century was Late Middle Ages. And 15th century onwards was the Modern Age. Now in the next video, we will see what Modern Age brought with it. So much for this session now. Thank you and have a nice day.